Friend of FANRUN, Trey Wallace, Outkick the coverage. Although I guess it's just Outkick now. We don't really worry about the coverage part of it anymore. Outkick, Fox National, Trey. Always good to hear from you. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm good, dude. I'm good. Still looking back at the Arkansas curse that's going on in Omaha.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. That was my first question. Is Arkansas baseball just cursed? Because at this point, I didn't think they could, top 2018. And look, I don't think last night top 2018 either. But it was another damn chapter where they just completely found the most gut-wrenching way to lose, having an outfielder trip and have the ball hit him and bounce 20 yards away. It was something I wasn't expecting.
No, and just how it all led up to that. How it all, the shortstop throwing the third when he could have pulled the double. And then even the last play of the game, the ball went through the second baseman's glove. I mean, he got some good air. So, I mean, you look at it overall, it's like, damn, it's like 2018 happens where you got three guys just standing around and the foul ball drops and, you catch that ball and you win a national championship. This, obviously, it's a little bit different because they had to beat an LSU on Thursday night to advance to the championship series. But at the same time, you're like, what gives? Dave Van Horn has been searching for that national title in Arkansas, and he might not get it in time for Tony Vitello to go take over in Fayetteville.
Well, we were talking about it on Talk Sports, but I said, I think I would rather just had my team lose like Tennessee did to Arkansas versus having your heart ripped out on that stage, because the way Arkansas had played the last couple games and the way they had saved their bullpen, and you look at the way LSU kind of had to navigate rain delays and all that, I think Arkansas would have been favored in the deciding game 3. I think Arkansas would have won that game and eliminated LSU, but instead they can't get those, that 27th out to get to the finish line, and now it's just, like I said, another chapter of just egg on the face. Lucy pulling the ball away from Charlie.
Yeah, and I also think it's you get all the way to Wednesday, you stave off elimination. I agree with you. If you're a team, get beat like Murray State did, or you're 2-0 in Omaha. But for them, they're having to stick around till Wednesday. We're going to come back Thursday. Then we're just going to stay the fans have got to be you got shitting me at this point.
And you really start thinking hey, we're a team of destiny type of thing. Hey, we're going to battle back from this. We're going to do it the tough way. Of course, our first national championship would have had to have been out of the loser's bracket. We're going to finally break all this. And then, nope, you're going home because you're the best player on your team. The best player on your team doesn't go for the double play. I thought that was just asinine, not even attempting, because if it's a one-run game, sure, get the lead runner, keep the guy off third base. Maybe I understand a little bit more, but when you have a 2-run lead, that's when you got to go for the double play for sure.
Well, don't forget the up and down emotions of them. Just Gage Wood just throwing one of the best performances we've ever seen in college World Series history, maybe in college baseball history from a pitching standpoint, with a no-hitter the other day. He's one batter away from a perfect game. So it's like emotions are here, and then you're up here in the ninth because you're leading 5-3 in the bottom, and then all of a sudden it's just shabam, it's over. And it's okay, are we ever going to get back? Are we ever going to be in contention? That's college baseball for you. It's ugly.
Now, you are a college sports expert on a national level. SEC, of course, the bread and butter. So I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but I think you're going to be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Arkansas baseball, what's the closest comparison either in college basketball or college football? I think, obviously, you could have said Georgia football until they break through, right? Until Kirby Smart wins the national title. So you can't really use them anymore. Is there another program? Is there another team that comes to mind in either sport?
Yeah, Tennessee basketball.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Tennessee basketball. I thought when I'm forgetting the year right now, I guess it was 22 when they won the SEC tournament in Tampa. I was like, all right, that's a team that could make a Final Four. And then, even the last couple of years, you're like, all right, that's a squad that should at least be the Final Four teams in college basketball. And they come up short. You can't say Tennessee football hadn't been in that spot for a while.
And you at least have the national championship to hang your hat on too. Like, I mean, it's been a long time. Trust me. In Knoxville, we know just how long it's been since 1998. But at least you got one in the quote unquote modern era. At least since TVs had color on them. You know what I mean? Like, not high definition, but you could at least watch them on TV.
Yeah, and Kirby was a good example too until he started going on a roll. So I mean, I look at it overall, and like, okay, where is the line drawn in the sand on which teams are at this this stage? But you look at like the last 8 years of like Arkansas athletics, whether that be football, basketball, baseball, you name it, and you're like, all right, it's hard to find a team that's choked, and even choke's a hard word to use because it's it's just the flow of the game. But yeah, I mean, I would say Tennessee, even going back to like when Grand Admiral were playing together, like that was a squad. I was like, damn, okay, that's a national championship squad, in my opinion. Like,
is the Tennessee basketball Arkansas baseball comparison better, or is the Rick Barnes Dave Van Horn comparison better? Because this follows Rick Barnes around his entire career, never being able to break through and win. Now, granted, I don't think Rick Barnes has ever really been thought of as the number one coach in the country like Dave Van Horn is, but like, yeah, it feels like it's a Rick Barnes thing, maybe more than a Tennessee basketball.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you on that. And then the Dave Van Horn thing, it's like, how much closer can you get, to that national championship? And so, yeah, I mean, I think the comparisons are there. And I think also at the same time, we're about to start a new era in college sports. So, getting to these College World Series, I think even with the teams you saw like this year, with Murray, and Coastal's playing good, but Coastal's out of the Sun Belt. So you got to put them like in that tier. So I overall, man, I'd say the luck is run out for Arkansas, and they got to be feeling like absolute hell this week.
Who you got the championship series? LSU or Coastal Carolina?
I mean, I like the way Coastal's playing right now.
It's impossible not to.
But the dam has got to break at some point. Like, you've won 25 games in a row. Like, LSU's not coming to play around. I will say, I don't think
you just got to win two more. You just got what's 27 when you've already won 25, Trey? It's just two more.
And I think also there's not going to be that big of a discrepancy when it comes to the crowd. I think Coastal Carolina fans are going to invade Omaha this weekend. So, like,
should be fun.
I don't think that's going to play back. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun series. And that's probably the best part about it is if you're just a college baseball fan, like if you're just watching these two teams, they actually get like almost 3 full days of rest because they're not going to play until Saturday night. So these teams will be ready to go. So I'm actually going to take Coastal Carolina to win that championship, though.
That's me changing gears. Let's go to college football. We asked the question earlier this week. I'm going to get your take. As you sit here right now, basically smack dab middle of June, how many teams do you look at can legitimately win a national championship in football this fall?
4. Probably
4?
I mean, 4, yeah, just because of the playoff format and where it's at and how they could land up and end up in the first, second round or who gets ways. I mean, I think that Georgia's going to be there.
So you have Georgia on the list, even with the quarterback situation, because, I don't know how you feel about Gunner, but to me, he's not he didn't seem championship level good. Now, granted, of course, Georgia can have all the talent in the world around him and kind of do the old Alabama model, but I just don't know how effective that is in today's sport, because you think back to when Alabama was doing it, you could win games 20-17 frequently, but now it seems like you got to be a little bit more high scoring, but you still think he's good enough.
I think he's good enough because what they can put around him at the same time. I mean, you look at what they've done in the past. They've run the ball. Even when Stetson, was quarterback. And then really, how good of a look did we get at Gunnar Stockton? I mean, he was kind of thrown into the fire, when Beck went down with the elbows. So it's like, all right, let's see what he has with a full spring, summer, fall camp. And then, we'll find out early. And then you look at the rest of the conference, Texas is obviously right there. And then, I want to say Alabama, to be honest with you, but I don't know what the hell we're going to get from Ty Simpson. Like, I don't even know how long Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback if he is coming out of fall camp. So, like, that one to me is kind of an up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't even like said Ty Simpson's a quarterback, right? I mean, but you think like he's getting that job, at least the first crack at it, seeing how he's been, at the school for 3 years now, I guess at this point.
What feels like 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, talking with folks at Bama, like it does. Coming out of spring, it felt like it, and then halfway, not even halfway through the summer, but yeah, I think he's kind of proven himself to be the leader, and I think they're going to give him a run here. I think the sleeper is going to be Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Like, what's Austin Simmons look like at quarterback with a full season as the starter? Like, I think, they could be a sleeper. And then I'll just throw one more at you, and a lot of people might laugh at this, but don't forget, South Carolina's got Dylan Stewart on the edge, and you got Lenore Sellers at quarterback. Like,
Sellers would have to be Cam Newton. Like, he would have to be Cam Newton, and that one's going to make people kind of roll their eyes. But, I mean, they showed they could play, with Alabama last year, with Clemson. Yeah.
We're talking about 12 teams here. So, they really only need to be around, 17th, 18th in the country, maybe 19th to start the month of November, and they can catch 2 losses, so.
To me, I would throw out everyone after Texas. I go Georgia, Texas in terms of SEC teams that actually have winning it. But when you look around the rest of the country, who else fits that mold? I mean, Ohio State, of course, they'll be right there just with the talent. Is there any other team that you look at in that kind of inner circle for national champions? Notre Dame, maybe, Clemson, maybe.
I mean, I look at Clemson. I think you're going to see a resurgence this year.
Feels that way, right? It feels like they have the defensive talent to go along with, maybe a guy that's at least projected right now to be a top offensive talent with Cade. But I don't know if I believe that with him, but he did look really good down the stretch, especially against Texas in the playoff game.
Well, the biggest thing to me too is Miami. Like, where do they look like? Like, they went out and spent a lot of money in the portal. So I do think that with Carson Beck.
Do it back, Trey. No, you got to hold your nose. You got to do the Cam Ward. You got to do the stick. There you go, the zombie face.
Yeah, he is your
he's my quarterback now. They're going to fall apart without him. They lost the best player in college football last year.
They better figure it out quick in Nashville. I feel bad for your Titans. I look forward to their new stadium just so I can go see an event there. Maybe not the Titans.
We'll go watch some concerts.
Yeah,
WrestleMania, maybe meet you at WrestleMania in a couple years. Who knows if they can ever get out of Las Vegas?
No shit, right? They're probably going to go 3 in a row in Vegas. Damn you, TKO. I was looking forward to going to New Orleans, by the way, because that'd have been an easy trip. Yeah, I mean, look, man, Miami, enough talk. Go do something now. Let's see how Carson Beck responds from his elbow injury. But the other awesome one, too, that he better figure it out quick is if Lincoln Riley does not get his shit together at USC this year,
is he out of there?
Yeah, Trojans can move on and go find themselves another coach. Like, they're agitated enough out there, and I think they're tired of his nonsense behind the scenes as well. So,
is he likable in college football circles? Do people like Lincoln Riley? Because it did seem like he was the whiz kid, I'm smarter than everybody, but like for a while he was smarter than everybody, right? Like his offenses backed it up, so you kind of get that. You could act like Bill Belichick and Greg Popovich if you're at least winning and producing offenses. I know, Oklahoma didn't win any championships with him, and he didn't win anything at USC, but at least he was producing number 1 overall quarterbacks and Heisman Trophy winners. But now that that's dried up, like, I don't even really think of Lincoln Riley anymore. So I was curious what his standing is with other people in the media or in the other coaching circles.
He's seen in the Big Ten as a cocky coach that is not producing anything on the field yet when it comes to being at USC. Like, and obviously, that could be clear by just looking at his squad and even what he had with Caleb Williams as quarterback. But yeah, I mean, they have to do something this year. They probably could end up making a move. Obviously, I think Dan Lanning is going to reload. I think Dan Lanning and them are going to hang around. That defense is always good.
Are they in your circle? You putting Oregon in your circle?
I'm putting Oregon in the circle.
Okay, so the circle's growing a little bit.
Circle's growing a little bit, but once you get, and that's the thing with this 12-team playoff, man. Like, once you get out of like 7, 8 teams, like, it's a hard time. Like, look what happened last year. Like, The reason
I remember going into it last year though, feeling like 6 or 7 teams could theoretically win the championship. Then Stetson Bennett got hurt. Not Stetson Bennett, excuse me. Carson Beck got hurt, and Ohio State morphed into the Monstars, and like all of a sudden looked like they were supposed to look, and then it felt like a foregone conclusion. But I remember, heading into the tournament thinking if Tennessee got hot, they could maybe surprise people, or Oregon, or I felt like there's 5 or 6 teams at that point.
No, I don't disagree, because you also look at Texas and what you had with Quinn Ewers and the guys around him. And then, you had Ohio State. The best thing that could have happened to Ohio State was getting beat by Michigan, because they just went on an absolute tear. I think also, once you get to that 10, 11 spot, like I'd have been curious to see, like, if South Carolina would have gotten in last year, and matched up with like Ohio State, like, what would that have looked like? I'm just saying,
a beatdown. Yeah. A beatdown is what it would have looked like.
Yeah, and then Tennessee found out, once they got to Columbus, that they really didn't have a quarterback that progressed through the season.
That was a terrible decision by me to go to Columbus. Dude, bad idea.
Yeah, on the sidelines, man. I was
bad.
By halftime, I had my article done for the post game. So
I was going to say, you were at least getting paid. I was not getting paid to be there and be cold. You were at least working. I was there for fun.
Well, I know. And I know a couple other people that were there, along with the other 25,000 Tennessee fans.
Yeah.
They were in the stadium. No, I mean, it is what it is. I think, whatever, the whole Nico thing, we could talk about that for days, but good luck to him at UCLA.
I know you're a busy man. I know you got a lot of people to get to, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. But before you go,
a little bit longer.
I do just want to ask you a couple Tennessee questions in terms of, you kind of talked about Nico. Do you have any updates from Firking? Do you have anything on there? I got my hands on a text message that he sent to Josh Dobbs where he was asking Josh for money. That's kind of circulating right now, and Josh with an all-time response of just like, prayers, brother, but I don't do loans. Like, I thought that was a funny thing, because Grant sent him a 3-paragraph like, hey man, like, I prayed about it and God said I need to ask you for this money and that you'll bless me and keep it private. And I was like, oh, my God, that's terrible.
He wasn't the only one, man. There were even some former coaches that were
really
reached out to.
I wonder what Jeremy Pruitt thought. I was like, hell, if I'm Jeremy Pruitt, I was going to say, hey, I was getting ready to ask you for money, brother. Like, I lost my buyout. I need you to get me some topsoil on the cheese. Yeah.
Like, I need a little help here.
Hell, I was going to ask you. That's what I told the homeless man when they asked me for money. Hell, I need some too. I was going to ask you.
Let me get a little bit of that NIL money. Man, it's such a weird story. Like, I've seen some messages. I don't want to I'm not going to implicate him in any more things that aren't already out there. But let's just say, like, he was also hitting up former teammates and trying to sell them tickets for the first game of the season against Syracuse. And it's like, why would former player? All they have to do is call the Tennessee ticket office and be like, "Hey, I'm a former player. I need tickets." Like,
no, that went around. I don't imagine they'd be mad if anybody says his name because it went around. But yeah, I heard that with Todd Kelly. He was talking about that in terms of getting tickets sold. That was Billy attached.
McFarland. It's like Billy McFarland from Firefest.
That's what it was. Except that
I can get you Grammy tickets.
Yeah, except I don't even know what the difference is. Billy went to prison and didn't seem bothered by it. I don't know if this guy's got him to go to prison. He seemed bothered by the walls caving in where Billy's just like, you know what, I'm going to bring you out on an island. We'll see what happens. And he said either it's going to work or he's like, we'll be legends one way or the other. And he is a legend now.
I saw he released a statement. Like, the only news agency Grant released a statement to was like Atlanta Metro News or some shit, and he said something along the lines of like, all installations have been done. I plan on paying people back, and it's already in the process. I'm like, okay, bro. Like,
I saw that quote too, which was crazy. That's the only statement he's made. Like, he's hidden from everyone else, but gave some local new TV station a quote that basically like, yeah, everything's taken care of. We're good.
Like, yeah, by the way, there's about 16 other people that are waiting to press charges against you. So like, this isn't going away, and I think that here's the other thing too. Like, a lot of people just aren't looking at it this way, but I guess I do, and maybe you do because we're in the media business. But when you work for a media company, like On3, and like On3, by the way, this is whatever. They did nothing wrong here. Okay. Besides, maybe should have asked for a damn contract and seen if he was actually employed there. But that's another story. But when you work for a media company and you're ahead of the NIL game, like you're the face of the NIL at that company, but then you got a contract with Tennessee as a consultant to Josh Heupel. Like, what the hell could you really be saying to Josh Heupel that would be worth $30,000 over a 2-year span? But that's where I think like the ugly part is like you were working for a media company that does rankings and handles NIL stories and whatnot, but then at the same time,
that breaks Nico news, by the way, too. Like, I don't know is he the guy that was, giving On3 all the Nico updates? Like, hell, I don't know. Like, it did seem pretty one-sided, pro Tennessee in terms of all these updates. It was like an NIL negotiation. So like, I wonder if that's connected, if he's handling NIL and player relationships and all that at Tennessee. It does make you at least wonder.
I would just say there was a number of people that knew what was going on. So, he had the ear of Josh Heupel.
Sure.
Would it be surprising? The whole damn thing is crazy, to be honest with you. But then I look back on it. And I remember going on, when I would go cover like a Tennessee-Georgia game on the road or Tennessee-Bama, something that was big that they sent me that weekend, he would always be there. And he'd always have a field pass. And he was always hugging Josh Heupel and shit. And I was like it's a little weird, but okay. Like maybe they just have this good relationship that, but then come to find out, like, I don't think this is like breaking news, but 80% of the folks inside the football building and the athletic department building had no freaking clue that he was under contract with Tennessee. Like no clue. Like people found out whenever the story was breaking, like, people over there were finding out at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Like,
is it a bad look for Tennessee?
Yeah,
like when you went
for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think it could have been easily avoided. Like you don't like whatever. Like you're hiding the fact that you have and maybe it's not hiding because nobody asked, but at the same time, you got to be open about it. I mean, you got a guy working again for a media company and then supposedly representing you and all this type of shit. And then don't forget about the fact that, the university hired him, technically his company, to like landscape the entire campus. It was like, that was the first NIL deal ever in college sports. It was like Tennessee
the whole thing. I thought the whole thing was weird going back to like the introduction of him as millionaire player. Like it just felt weird, and it just felt like it couldn't be completely on the up and up. Like
I got duped.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, but it felt always a little off to me. And maybe it was jealousy of like, there's no way a 19-year-old kid's a millionaire without like doing either something shady or like parents basically doing it for him. But like those stories created this whole persona. Like that gives credibility to everything he was doing because you could Google him and it'd be like, oh, okay, Tennessee, here's a story about him, how good of a person, how hard of a worker he is. And like, it just seemed kind of crazy from the get-go, but I never thought it would come crashing down like this quickly.
It was a walk-on receiver that didn't see any playing time. Like, if that happens anywhere else, nobody cares because that's not the right word to use. But, yeah, he's not getting this popularity. He's not going to work for On3. He's not handling NIL events with Olivia Dunn and Kirk Herbstreit and all this shit. Like, it's just appearing on the Paul Feinbaum show like crazy.
Yeah, like Tennessee helped prop him up, which, to your point, I do think helps make it a bad look. But like it wasn't just Tennessee; it was On3 and it was Paul Feinbaum, and there is a part of me that when you say like On3, it's not really their fault, but like it always felt a little weird that he was working with them, but also like you said, not really hiding that he's on the field with Josh Heupel. And like on the field at all these Tennessee events that I think would like not as a media member, but as somebody there just to kind of hang out and like reap the benefits of being
a bench pass at every road game. I've covered numerous big Tennessee road games, whether that be against Georgia or Alabama, or at Ohio State. I'm just naming like a few. Like first off, he was at every home game, and then he's on the road at these places. And by the way, you only get a certain amount of bench passes. Like Danny White gets one, Dondi gets one, a couple of their crew, inside the athletic department, and that's it. And then Grant Firkin gets it. And I'm like, All right, that's a little weird. You're not.
He's kind of the face of the program when it comes from a business. Like he was kind of the face of the off the field program to an extent. You know, when you see the pictures and you see him hosting these alumni and money raising events and all that, like it was kind of crazy.
Here's what threw me off too, a little bit. Not threw me off, but there are folks inside Tennessee's athletic department. They were like, "We're laying off people left and right over here to get rid of this shit, and we're paying them $30,000 over 2 years. Like that money could have gone to a graphics designer or some shit like that. Why are we paying him? What has he done?" Like that's the biggest thing. So I mean, he didn't look. God bless him. Whatever. He didn't try to hide anything. He's having parties at Neyland Stadium and the Sun Sphere and posting on Instagram, you know, every single night from a chop house with the best bottles of wine. So, like, he was living it up while he was scamming people, so allegedly. So, God bless him.
Just real quick on the way out, Tennessee football on the field in 2025.
Yeah.
What percentage of a chance do you give them to be a playoff team when it comes to the actual 12-team playoff?
I think they're a 9-3 football team. Like,
okay.
I think that
9-3 probably ends up similar to where South Carolina was on the outside looking at it, like 14, 15, somewhere like that.
Yeah, I think the defense, Tennessee has done something in the last couple of years. I've kind of mentioned it a couple of times. They have a bunch of FU guys that come off the bus now on the defensive line. Somebody that you know, like when they get off, they're like, oh, shit, we got to go up against this guy today. Like, I think the defense will be fine. The offense – we'll find out. Like, I think Joey Aguilar and Merklinger, they're going to fight it out. Like, it's not like they gave Aguilar starting quarterback money when he came here, but they took care of him enough for what he was making at UCLA. So he's making over $1 million, $1.5 million. But at the same time, I think that Josh Heupel's heard enough shit about the way his offense was the last year without Hendon. I mean, 2, if you really want to look at it. I think they open it up more this year. And I think you get back to what you saw when you had wide receivers like Velus Jones, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, because I still go back to that game, that Florida game in Josh's first year where they lost to Florida. They're about to get on the bus to go to the airport and go back home to Knoxville. And Josh pulls Velus Jones, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt off the bus, takes them to the back and said, all right, I'm not effing around anymore with these tryouts during practice and shit. You are my 3 guys. We are rolling with you. You're starting. Take up for the team. Let's go. Be the leaders. I think Josh kind of does that this season, and you don't see a big old rotation of guys. Like, obviously you need it, but you got to have your star guys at that spot. And I think they'll be fine at running back. I think they're going to be fine at tight end, offensive line. You know, your $2 million lineman better come out of the gates ready to play, David Sanders. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the conference, I think the schedule kind of works out for them.
Well, everything you're saying, Trey, is making me think 10-2, not 9-3. You're selling me on it.
Who's your win right now that you think might not go the way? Can you catch Georgia? I don't think
you can catch Georgia, but like is winning one of at Alabama or off to Florida. You know, you don't even have to win both of these, but can you win one of at Alabama or at Florida? And I don't know how you feel about Florida, but like I think we're a little too high on them based off of just they got hot in November last year. Like
high on DJ. We're high on DJ. Like,
well, sure,
as a whole, but like,
sure, but DJ, he played okay. Like, I do think, I understand the difference between like what you proven versus how you project, but like, I'm not 100% positive that Billy Napier is the guy that's going to really unlock this 5-star quarterback and turn him into a stud. So, like, to me, it's very plausible that Florida's 6-4 when you look at their schedule when Tennessee goes to the Swamp, and at that point, if Tennessee's going over the playoff spot in the line, I'd be terrified. But B, like that's a game that Tennessee should win. But I don't know. Like if the offensive line is improved, like you said, it should be, and the running back position is okay, and the wide receivers are more dynamic. As long as Joey or Merklinger's not turning the ball over twice a game,
People
to me,
forget, like, it wasn't the freaking offense last year for Tennessee that won games. I'm sorry. It was your defense. And, I mean, offense, technically, your running game. What I'm trying to say is it wasn't like Nico was going out throwing 300 yards a game and dicing people up. I'm sorry. If you're going to use the Vanderbilt game as some kind of, like, proof that he did that, it's like, okay, Dante Thornton caught a slant 15 yards over the middle and ran it 80 yards. Like, cut me with the bullshit. So I do think that I think they're going to actually be better without Nico this year. That's just kind of my opinion on it. But
but be better, but a little bit tougher because of the road game. So maybe that equals 9-3 versus 10-2. I get it.
You're talking about Billy Napier looking for another job, by November 1st. Like, these schools aren't going to wait around any longer either. Like, with this new era win, man, like,
do opposing fan bases accuse you of being fans of any teams? Like, do you get called a Tennessee fan because of the Tennessee ties?
Yeah,
is that it? So you're just trying to be a little unbiased by saying 9-3. I get it, Trey. You think 10-2 too? You think 10-2 as well? I got you. Understood.
It's crazy that you can work for one beat, but not realize that I was covering it nationally before I moved to Knoxville and in the SEC. And then I have to point out that I had two brothers that went to Auburn, a mother that went to LSU. I worked under John Pelfrey at South Alabama, and my father went to Tennessee. So,
yeah, you're definitely not a Tennessee guy, Trey. It's fine.
Right. Because Bubba puts the Tennessee shit on all the time. He wants to flaunt that shit. Like, okay. So, yeah, I also, I need to stop telling people where I live because that doesn't help either.
That's not going to help.
Oh, you're a Tennessee homer. It's like, fuck you, man. I've only lived here for a certain period of time.
That doesn't help. Two quick questions.
Man. I'm not moving.
Two quick questions on the way out. 10 seconds or less. Okay. Thoughts on your boy Bill Goldberg's return?
Such bullshit. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I do find it better that we're not doing this on a premium event, like out in Saudi or some shit, because I wouldn't take him to Saudi after what he did to The Undertaker. I'd say, screw you, bro. And then at the same time, like, the guy looked like me coming out of a FANRUN studio with his knee. The dude can't walk. I fucked my knee up big time.
I looked out the window and Trey was like a damn turtle on his back.
I told my up that day. It was
just covered in mud.
Help me. That's why I've got plates and screws in my knee now.
That's a good one.
I get what they're doing, like with Atlanta. Like, I understand that part, but all this is a filler to get to SummerSlam. Like, so. Okay,
maybe a way to get the belt. Maybe get the belt off Gunther and onto Seth Rollins. Maybe get a little cash in.
They do that bullshit. They did it with Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And then, so, like, how many times do you want to just have him as a filler for a month so Seth can come in at the end, cash it in, and be the title? I do think.
Well, I meant cash in that night. I mean, just maybe.
That's what I mean.
Cash
in that night after. Yeah. And they'll try to take all the buzz away from AEW, who's running the same damn event, which I like AEW, by the way. But at the same time, just a side note to that, I do think we're seeing a Cody Rhodes heel turn coming in the next 6 months.
We need one. Maybe Goldberg versus Braun Breaker, Spear versus Spear retirement match could be set up or something. I don't know. But last question on the way out.
Wait. Stop for a second. You think there's going to be another match after Atlanta?
I don't know. I feel like do retirement matches not usually like let you know the retirement matches? Like this one hasn't been billed as a retirement match, so in my head in my mind the best fantasy booking is Gunther and Goldberg have a match, and basically Rollins and his crew just come out and beat the hell out of both of them. They cash in. Rollins gets the belt. Braun Breaker, Goldberg have some type of beef over the next month.
Braun's the one that spears him to let Seth win the title.
Yeah. Then they have a whole Spear versus Spear, kind of the passing of the torch, if you will, and it's built up as a retirement match or something like that. To me, that's the easiest way to make it work. But
I feel you on I'm with you.
Last question on the way out. I need the official Outkick take. Are we team Tucker Carlson or team Ted Cruz? Like what's the stance? What's the company line here?
Fuck, man. You know what? I've done so good to stay out of the political realm for working with Outkick for 4.5 years. All
right, I'll let you go, Trey. Talk to you later. Appreciate it.
I'll say Tucker. Like, I thought Tucker Carlson manhandled him in that interview. There's a lot of things I'm sick and tired of reading about. I think, some of the political shit that's going on. I'm tired of everybody babying Caitlin Clark when this is the WNBA. Go out there and take a hit and stop whining. Then everybody wants to write articles about how the WNBA is unfair and they want to attack Caitlin Clark because she's white. No, this is fucking basketball. This is what happens. It's not because she's white. This isn't a racist thing. This is basketball. So
it's because she's a star, and then you have to have a goon on the team to protect the star. Like, that's what Michael Jordan had to have with Charles Oakley. If maybe Sophie Cunningham's just going to have to beat everybody's ass in the league to get people to fall in line. I don't know. But, Trey, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for making so much time. I'll talk to you, I'm sure, soon. Enjoy your break. You deserve one. You going to take a little sabbatical, I guess, before SEC Media Days, or what's your plan?
Yeah, I do it every year just because I don't stop for 11 months, and then I'll stop for like 2.5 weeks, and then we'll be at SEC Media Days, and then I'll take one little final 5-day break, and then I won't stop till this time next year. So, yeah.
Love it. Appreciate the time. Talk to you later. Outkick.com. Trey Wallace, friend of FANRUN. See you, brother.
Thanks, buddy.